Yeah, we know. We're running late. Welcome back, Shadow Nation, to the one, the only mystifying Oracle Radio. Your Ghostman&Demon, our show, Demon Hunter.
72 hours of Star Trek. I've been watching Star Trek for 72 hours. No sleep. I can't open my eyes.
Well, you've officially reached a different type of geek status now. Special thanks to all our homes, all our sponsors, Stitcher Smart Radio, Spreaker, the world's listening. How about you? Check them out, Spreaker.com. Geeky Antics, geeky people, geeky fun, geekyantics.net, a 10 of home healthcare, good people ready to help the ones you love, especially in Indianapolis. That's where they're at. 10 of HHE.com, the SYL Project Nathan. Good.
Everybody needs some love.
What's that website?
That would be syl.org.
SYLproject.com.
.com?
Yeah, that's .com. I don't know. Maybe it's .org. Shit, I don't know.
You better check that out. And now I got to bleep you.
Yeah, don't bleep me. Yeah, you have to put all of a sudden, I'll say .org, and all of a sudden it'll go com. You would do it, wouldn't you?
I would.
You really would.
I would just go in there and be like, syl.com.
Live from this G&D show studios. Go to ghostandemon.org.
Gob.
Yeah. It's actually .com, though, guys. That's our website. Anyway, welcome back, Shadow Nation, to, of course, your mystifying Oracle of Radio. Only the best right here with Nathan and Sean. We should change the name of the show from Ghostman&Demon Show to Nathan and Sean Hour of Power.
I think since we keep saying it's everybody else's Ghostman&Demon Hunter show, we should just change it to the Shadow Nation.
Yeah.
And the Shadow Nation hosted by the Ghostman&Demon Hunter.
Right. Hey, is anybody going to get in chat tonight and let us know? Send us your address, so we can actually send you bills to pay for the show. Because they're starting to pile up, guys. And that's a whole new avenue that we've done here, right? New bills.
Yes. Yeah. We have all new bills. For all those out there who say, I never know what you guys are doing.
Right.
Now we have to thank our buddy Jason, who is out there making sure you guys know what we're doing, following us on Facebook and Twitter, especially Twitter, since neither Sean nor I really know how to do Twitter.
We thought we did, but we're being proved wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. We did think we were doing that right, didn't we?
We really did. You look at what other people do and you're like, isn't that what I was doing? No, you missed this one @ symbol here and you messed up everything. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll never get on Twitter again.
That's how it is too. I mean, my God.
So basically now we send what we want to be posted to somebody else who knows how to post it properly so everybody sees what we're doing.
And then we can holler at him if...
Yes.
We're kidding.
Then we could say, you forgot the £! sign.
Yeah, what's wrong with you, dude? Anyway, you know, guys, again,
we'll have more information on that as time goes on.
On the Twitter, yeah.
On the Twitter, people. Anyway, thanks, Jason.
He's a great guy. I think we're moving in a whole new direction with Twitter now. So... got lots of Twitter fans.
The Tweeter.
If you want to know what we're doing during the week, guys, that's where you need to go. So
I know.
Anyway, Indianapolis Colts are playing tonight. It is a sacred time of the year, and I'm here with our Shadow Nation people. So, hey, have you been following our Facebook page this week, or you just been smoking weed and chilling?
Well, you know me. I'm such a pot smoker.
I know, right? I'm trying to do it. Oh, I will tell you this, though. You know how... I chew tobacco. I chew Skull wintergreen pouches.
Yeah.
And, you've constantly said, hey, your face is going to fall off. And then I said, and I can't tease you no more and say, well, you're going to have cancer and you're going to have a trach.
Because I quit smoking.
You quit smoking. So today, I started the vape. And I've had one chew today. Just one.
I got to tell you, though, brother, if you're going to switch over to the vape, you got to set a date when you just will do no more chew. It can't be like, I'm going to do 1 or 2 a day and everything else will be filled. Yeah, you just got to get the chew and the cigarettes or whatever you're doing. If you're switching over the vape, if you go and smoke a cigarette or take a chew.
Yeah.
That's what your body is used to, and that's what it's going to crave. And if you do it even once, you're going to wind up going back to the chew or the cigarettes or the cigars. Because the vape doesn't give you everything that, plugging a chunk of tobacco or breathing in a bunch of smoke gives you.
I don't. First off, sir, let me correct you because clearly you don't know the world of chewing tobacco. I don't plug a chewing. That's country boy shit. I use those little
I will
pads.
have you know that I took my first plug of tobacco when I was only 7 years old.
Yeah.
And then my dad called to me, and I thought he was going to catch me, so I quickly swallowed.
Yeah.
And I have never done chewing tobacco ever since.
Oh.
So
I know what you
really
mean.
should
It's
scare
the
people out there
squares.
is that's what I actually talk like when I'm not on the radio.
Yeah. No, he does, folks, when he does talk. No, but I've actually seen those plugs. They come in a square, guys, and it's just a big block of chew. That's what you're talking about, right?
And you
off.
bite it right off of the edge and shove it in your cheek.
It's an acquired taste, but I acquired it. I love it.
Yeah. Hey, who would have ever thought that breathing in noxious vapors would be something that people love? And yet I smoked for 25 years, folks. In fact, I just was talking to somebody the other day. There's a study currently going on at one of our local hospitals, which I'm going to try and get into, where they do enhanced CAT scans of the lungs.
Okay.
And what they can actually do with these enhanced CAT scans is check to see if you have had any form of cancer growth, even in its earliest stage.
Really?
It's called a low-dose CT scanning for cancer. And currently it's available to people over 50, and I'm not there yet. And what they do is they take how many cigarettes you smoked a day for so many years, and say you smoked a pack a day for 25 years. You're a one-pack smoker. If you've smoked pack a day for the first 15 years and then 3 packs a day for the last 10 years, then you are a 2.5 smoker.
Right.
And if you reach a certain amount of smokes over 1 pack a day over a certain amount of years and you're over 50 years old, they do this low density CAT scan of your lungs, and they can find the beginnings of tumors years before they actually become a problem.
That's crazy.
And can actually do something about it. And that's, I mean, we're in the science of Star Trek at this point in our medical world. And did I mention I've been watching Star Trek for 72 hours, Sean?
Yeah, what is that? Where do they have it?
Well, it's the 50th anniversary of Star Trek. And BBC America has been gracious enough to be playing every Star Trek episode. And so not having the set yet myself, I could just go down to the store and buy the set for $50 and watch it anytime I want. But instead, I've been watching it on the BBC for 72 hours straight, which is why I'm talking at about a mile a minute.
Yeah, I guess. You've been drinking a lot of coffee, have you?
Coffee.
Anyway. Hey, did you see this, if you were following the Facebook page this week, there was one thing about a guy. What's up with the guys losing their, oh, ouch, ladies, because this week's been a huge deal. I know we cover a lot of paranormal news. Yeah. The Calgary man loses testicles while trying to fill scuba tank with weed. That's why you messed up my lead in there. I was talking about you smoking pot, and I was like, hey, are you this guy?
Yeah, well, that's me.
And then lady cut off man's wee-wee because he didn't make eye contact during sex, and her eyes are, I think it's phony, of course, because her eyes are going cuckoo left and right.
Well, think if she'd been able to see straight ahead how much she would have cut off.
Oh, God. Yeah, she never could hit the one in the middle, that's for sure.
Hey, I'll tell you, man, as far as cutting off wee-wees, and that's a bad pun, I'm sorry. It will be when you hear what I'm leading into.
Yeah.
The transgender community has lost some stars of their community this week.
You got to be kidding me.
Dude, you're the man.
Alexis Arquette, the one-time brother, now sister of David Arquette.
Yeah.
You might remember her from The Wedding Singer.
I do, yeah.
And later she just recently was in the African movie that Adam Sandler did too. She had a role in that. And Lady Chablis, I don't know if you're a fan of this movie, Sean, but I was a huge fan of the movie. And now I'm
you're serious?
The Garden of the Good and Evil.
Somebody died. Yes,
Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. Both big names in the transgender community. Both died this week. In fact, Alexis just died today.
What a loss. Great actress.
And it was like one of those things where I'm sitting there looking up Lady Chablis because I wanted to mention that tonight, our loss. And And hey, folks, it's one of those things. That's one of my favorite movies, and I'm sorry to hear it. And then pops up Alexis Arquette, and I couldn't believe it.
Oh, that's crazy, man. That is crazy.
Brother, we do have to take a moment tonight and stop and thank all those out there who defend this country and fight our fires and protect us from crime, and say thank you, since today is September 11th.
Absolutely.
And, I spent the first half of my morning. I can't say I've been watching Star Trek for 72 hours straight, because this morning I did turn the channel to Channel 4 and watched the September 11th memorial ceremony.
Always. Never forget. Never forget. We learn. Anyway, 9/11.
Do have to send that out there. And now that we've brought ourselves down, let's bring ourselves back up.
I'm down. You bring us up. How about that? I'm down for the count now, pal.
You're down for the count?
And, you leave me on the ground.
I brought up death.
Yeah. Dude, you're the man.
You're going to let my little bringing up death and horror and the disaster that happened to this nation bring you down? Yeah. How about I bring you down a little bit more with a hot air balloon? Second hot air balloon accident this year, Sean. Hitting power lines.
Me.
Go ahead.
Hey, but this time the people lived.
Oh.
So, do you remember the power lines earlier this year? The balloon hit it, and there were like 11 people in the basket, and it fell to the ground, and everybody died.
Hold on a second, Nate. It don't sound right when you start reading the news like this. I know we don't want to do it, but, man, we worked so hard on it. Here we go. Hold on. Hold on. I got to do it. Are you ready with your news story?
Go ahead.
All right. This is so much fun. Oh, hold on. I didn't do it right. Somebody didn't put it in the there we go.
There you go.
Hey guys, you hear the sound. It's always fresh, it's always exciting. Strange and weird, and it's straight from the G&D Show vaults. And it starts right now. I
made you wait.
You did.
Made you look.
Did we do the drinking?
That's right, folks. G&D in the news. That's weird news when Sean and I take the stories right out of the paper because we like the titles. We haven't read them, so we make a lot of mistakes. Every time we make a mistake, you take a drink. That's why it's called the G&D drinking game. However, if you're planning to do anything important tonight, like drive your car, please don't play along with the G&D drinking game. And if you are going to listen, please listen responsibly.
Oh, shucks.
Oh. Hey, Sean, hot air balloon crashed into power lines this evening.
Oh.
It left the residents of Clyde, Ohio, without electricity this morning.
Right.
So Clyde, Ohio, no power. 2 people were aboard the aircraft when it plummeted to the cables near Limerick Park. Have a drink, folks.
How was that? Limerick?
6:45. Limerick Park.
No, it's too late. You said.
Yeah.
You said Limerick.
I said Limerick.
Dude, you're the man.
The Sandusky resident reports. Yeah. Emergency crews arrived on the scene and found one part of the balloon draped over the lines due to a still
corpse.
The duo still inside the basket.
Right.
Authorities did not publicly name the pair. So, Sean, people losing power because of balloons. A few years ago, people would have called that a UFO.
Hey, when the balloon hit the power line, do you think it went? It let the air out? I bet the pilot went.
If it was still filled with helium, everybody around would be going, I don't believe what just happened.
Oh my God.
It was just flying over our heads.
We welcome you to Munchkin Land. Oh, it's Ohio, wasn't it? Yeah.
Welcome back. Welcome back, Dorothy.
Auntie M.
I
was singing that song the other day, The Scarecrow.
That's because you're a festive man.
I am festive. Proceed, sir.
No, it's your turn now. You told me to start. I started.
Oh, my God. I almost choked. I was mid-drink of coffee. You can't put this on me. Jesus. Don't worry, guys. IKEA's popular Marius stool. Drink up, guys. Marius. Marius stool? Probably.
Marius.
Okay, we'll do it again. Don't worry, guys. IKEA's popular Marius stool probably won't eat your balls. This is with our...
Unless you want it to.
It might. For an extra charge, you can get that. IKEA's always got the coolest stuff, right? Don't worry, guys. It says, anyway, our good friends at the HuffPost send us this. Oh, my God. For a minute, I panicked because it was all in German or something. And I was going, what the heck did he send me? Anyway, a Norwegian man.
Orgle Bush.
Yeah. Hasini, drink. If it's in a foreign language, you guys are screwed. A Norwegian man is warning the world about the ball-sized holes in an IKEA chair. Oh my God.
That's what the problem is, Sean. It's all written in Scandinavian.
Oh my God. Why is... I don't have any of the funny sounds pulled up. That's anyway, but his tale of trapped testicles was a bit of an embellishment. Klaus Jordast. We'll just call him Jordash.
This was going to go great with your story about men losing body parts.
Drink up, guys. It's Jorstad. Told the Alaposten, drink up, guys, website that the story wasn't exactly about what happened, but rather something he realized could happen to a guy in the shower while sitting on the stool. Yeah. I said
why you're sitting on a stool in the shower. If you don't need to sit on a stool in the shower, folks, don't. You're gonna be sitting on one soon enough.
Yeah.
You know, it's somebody scrubs under your arms for you. So just stand up.
Dude, you're the man.
Well, if he's is he sagging that much? This is some big holes in this chair. You know, I mean,
can you just imagine somebody looking down going, I'm not sitting on that chair. It's gonna eat my balls.
It's gonna eat my sack. I don't know. Anyway, he says, I sat there and discovered all of a sudden that stool use could have unfortunate consequences for man.
There's only one kind of stool that should be going on in the bathroom.
That's true. Anyway, he said his original post he put out, I don't know where he put the post out at, I imagine Facebook or Twitter or something, which was definitely written by a sly sense of humor. The photographer came up with some new euphemisms to help appeal to the Swedish company. You are Swedish, and I know that you don't like direct descriptions of genitals. Jorstad, drink up, wrote, according to the local, so I will call them the skipper and his sailors. Right? Now, sit right back and you hear it tell the Swedish guy that lost his balls with a stool in the shower stall. You like that?
I like that. You thought that up yourself?
I did just now. I was doing it on the air. That's why we get paid so much. That's why we got to pay out so much. I don't know. The water got cold, Nathan. So this is what he says. The water got cold. So how in the world does he got to worry about, Now you're thinking of shrinkage, not saggage. Can you say saggage? I don't even know if it's a word. We're going to use it. Anyway, the water got cold, he wrote, according to the translation on SBS, even more cold than my mother-in-law's smile when I married her daughter. Oh.
I know what that smile looks like.
Yeah.
That is a cold smile. So
You've been hated by the best of the mother-in-laws.
Dude, you're the man.
Yeah.
I've been hated by the best and the worst.
I bet he doesn't need his balls anymore after his wife.
Always look for orphans. I tell you, it makes life easy.
The cold water caused his sack to shrink. Of course, you would know that. Enough to free him from the chair. Oh, so he's saying he was trapped in it, and the ball shrinkage was what allowed him.
I think he's made that comment originally, and now he's saying it didn't really happen.
Oh, he's a fibber. Anyway, while the story may not have been entirely true, Nate, IKEA gamely offered a good-natured response. Here we go, the boys at IKEA. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, here you go. Everybody get ready for IKEA's response. It's got to be clever. All right, here we go.
Well, they are in Norway. They are a clever bunch of people.
That's true. Is IKEA from
They
Norway?
invented the Vikings, after all.
I thought IKEA was from Chicago.
No, that's just the one you go to pick up your tables from.
Oh, I got it. From Sweden. Okay, this is what they
Sweden.
said. We recommend that you take the stool out of the shower, or that you sit on it with the right uniform on and in the right setting. If you choose to keep it in the shower, make sure you are well dressed for your next sea excursion.
Dude, you're the man.
With the skipper and that's great.
Yeah.
Way to go, IKEA.
Apparently, it was not a stool made for the shower.
Dumbass. Yeah.
Yes.
And he lied about
Hey,
it.
Sean, I'm not going to go fully into this story here, but I just wanted to note that because if I do read this story,
Yeah.
since it is a scientific story
Okay.
coming to us from the Huffington Post, that everybody will be drunk before I'm done. So just DNA surprise, giraffes are found to be 4 species, not 1.
I don't like to start stories with DNA surprise.
I
I like that, Nathan. You know that.
That's why the show is still located in Indianapolis, because you can't leave the state now.
Because of DNA. Thanks, doctors. I love science.
The Giraffe Conservatory Foundation asked scientists to carry out a genetic analysis of giraffes in Namibia, South Africa, merely to understand the similar or not different properties where each other and the properties where were to each other. Yeah. There you go. And how that could help the conservation effort. But scientists uncovered something unexpected.
Right.
Though
you were the creepy
modern
guy
giraffes are long been recognized as a single species, divided into a few subspecies, the researchers found 4 different species.
Okay.
We were extremely surprised because here you go, folks, get ready to drink. Morphological. Morphological. There you go. I said it right that time.
There you go.
And coat pattern differences between giraffes are limited, said study leader Alex Janken. I said that. A geneticist at Germany's Senckenberg Research Center.
Balls.
I am just going to stop this one because I'm going to lose it in a second. Following the genetic analysts using the DNA from 190 giraffes, Genki, and his team discovered that 4 species of giraffe have been separated for 1 to 2 million years with no evidence of genus being exchanged between them. Yeah. So the giraffes can't crossbreed.
Okay. And then in later news, Nathan,
yes,
the giraffe was caught in the shower and he's in the stool.
And his balls were stuck in his stool.
His balls, he couldn't crossbreed. He couldn't breed.
There you go. It's
damn you, IKEA.
I read this story 3 times tonight, folks, because it wasn't going to be part of the G&D news. It was supposed to be a topic, and I blew it. I blew it anyway.
I thought it was good. It was good.
Yeah. Everybody's drunk now. They'll think everything we say is funny now. Yeah. Anyway, Sean.
Yeah. Anyway.
Hey, Sean. Who's our guest tonight?
I don't know. Hey, did you want to talk about that watch as mysterious fireball streaks across the Oregon night sky?
Yes, please. That would be great.
Are you sure? Because you sounded like you wanted to talk about tonight's guest, and we already blew that segment.
Yeah, I know. We forgot all about it. Let's save it for like 60 seconds from now when we have to do it anyway.
Yeah, and commercial break. You wanted me to do it. That would be weird if I did it 3 times in a row.
I didn't even look at the clock and see we were like a minute or so away. But we got a couple minutes because we started late.
We're giving the nation pearls here of comedy.
Yes.
Comedic
pearls of comedy and reasons to drink. That's what life is about.
You guys getting comedic genius pearls. Anyway,
thank you, Huffington Post and UPI News.
Yeah, our good friends at the Huff Post. They can't tell the stories like us, though, Nate.
Yes.
Anyway,
they don't make you drink the way we do.
No. Watch as mysterious fireball streaks across the Oregon night sky. It was incredible, one witness said, but it doesn't tell who the witness was. Okay, the end, I guess. No, okay, here's the story. An unidentified fireball was spotted blazing across the night sky in Oregon on Friday. There was a video at about 1 minute. It shows it above here, and it's trying to walk you through it. About 1 minute, you show a bright object moving through the air for several seconds before going out of view. The witnesses of the fireball event logged more than 200 reports with American Meteor Society, with accounts spanning as far north as British Columbia down to southern Oregon. So our British Columbia, we've had a lot of buddies, a lot of guys on this show. I know they were from British Columbia. I don't remember who they were, but British Columbia down to southern Oregon. It's hard to say if it was a spacecraft debris or not. That's what Jim told, director of the Space Science Education at the Oregon Museum of Science and Industry. That's what they told. I'm sorry. That's what he told KOIN. I haven't ever seen anything like this, Nate. That's what they said. It was a shooting fireball, dude. That's what one witness said, according to the KGW. It was incredible, said another witness in Quincy, Washington. Apparently nobody wanted to talk about the names.
Nobody wants their names attached to it.
That's it.
Come on. Even President Carter admitted he saw a UFO.
Fireball in the night sky.
Yep.
Did you see Hillary
I
passed
saw
out
a fireball
today?
in the night sky once.
Did you really?
I did. It was bright green. It flew right over our car. And we actually talked about it on this show once before, Sean, and we had a UFO specialist on, and he said, yeah, that was probably an asteroid or a fragment of a meteor. Mm. I was like, oh, well, now I don't feel so cool anymore. Thanks for ruining everything.
Thanks for ruining the freaking thing, yo. Anyway, Nathan.
Sean.
Hold on a second. Okay, I dropped
Hey, Sean, just wanted to throw this in, too. I was flicking around last night in between episodes of Star Trek.
I bet you were flicking around.
And I have to go back and watch this because I only saw a few minutes of it, and it looks like something I really want to watch, and I recommend everybody else watch it. It's called The Mirage Men.
Oh, yeah. I think
and
it's Men in
all
Black
about
stuff.
the U.S. government creating myths of UFOs and ET visitors to crush the UFO community, basically to give them false information,
right,
to keep them like following the wrong trail. And I started watching it, and it doesn't look like it's going to be a fun fest of excitement, folks, but it definitely looks like it's full of information. I'm going to go back and watch it. I'll tell you more about it when I do. And I think everybody should take a look at it because it definitely looks like it's chock full of information.
Well, there you go, guys. The more you know.
But I couldn't watch it this weekend because Star Trek was on all weekend.
So of course not. You gotta have priorities. Tonight's guest is an American actor that has brought thrills and chills to both your television and the silver screen. Best known for his iconic roles and voice work on films like the entire Child Play franchise, Mississippi Burning, Lord of the Rings, and X-Files. Winner of the Golden Globe Award for his work in the classic film One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Tonight, Mr. Brad Dourif, Chucky himself, stops by your Mystifying Orca Radio, the GhostMan&Demon show right here, Nathan.
You forgot Dune.
Oh, yeah.
I love Dune.
Dune, yeah. Nathan didn't say anything about Dune.
I love Dune.
Yeah.
I am a total geek.
You going to talk to him about Dune tonight?
I'm going to ask him about Dune. I have questions about Dune.
No, you won't.
I will.
All right. Well, go ahead and do it. See if I care.
Okay, fine.
Anyway, guys, tonight's artist, because each week on the show, we know, we love, we support the little man, so we play an independent band. Tonight's band, don't we, Nate?
We try.
Yeah, name of tonight's artist is Papa Be Blue. Thanks to Nathan.
This song.
Nathan found this one, yeah. Name of the song, what's the name of the song, Nate? She Dat?
The name of the song, and of course you're asking me after I took...
No, I got it. She's a Vision. It's the name of the song.
She's a Vision.
By artist Papa Be Blue.
Because of the opening and the title, when I first heard it, I was expecting at any moment for him to start going, she's a lady. Yeah. But it's different.
She's a lady. Yeah, I like it anyway. It's very sexy, very bluesy.
It's a very sexy song.
Anyway, guys, we got to go to break. Nathan.
Sean.
Shadow Nation. We'll be right back with tonight's guest, Brad Dourif, Chucky. Stay tuned for that.
Hey, this is Ross Marquand, Aaron from The Walking Dead. You're listening to the Ghostman and Demon Hunter Show.
Hey, welcome back, Shadow Nation, to the one, the only, mystifying Oracle of Radio, your Ghostman and Demon Hunter Show. Tonight's guest is an American actor that has brought thrills and chills to both your television set and the silver screen. Best known for his iconic roles in voice work on films like the Child's Play franchise, Mississippi Burning, Lord of the Rings, and The X-Files, just to name a few. Winner of the Golden Globe Award for his work in the classic film One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Please help us welcome Shadow Nation to studio, Mr. Brad Dourif. Brad, what's up?
I'm here doing a convention, and I'm pretty happy.
How are you enjoying our beautiful city of Indianapolis, Indiana?
Well, I'm inside a hotel for the weekend, so I'm not going to see much of it. But
Yeah.
That's the way it goes.
Well, you're a West Virginia kid, so you're just coming back here. I mean, Midwest, you're a small-town kid, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I grew up in Huntington, West Virginia, and then I spent my summers in White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia, really close to the Virginia border.
Yeah, and Marshall University, all that stuff out there. I did my homework, buddy. I've been following you for a long time. Some would say stalking.
Okay.
I am going to do
Yeah,
spooky.
don't look out your window right now.
Yeah.
I know it's raining.
Right.
Raining, but I wish we had some of that upstate. We've kind of been a little bit droughty.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't talking about the rain. I was talking about Sean's probably standing out there looking in your window.
Oh.
No, I'm not. No, but you're down at the Horror Hound this weekend. It's funny, Nate, because I called Brad earlier and he said, so let's just meet up here at the hotel and do it. And I'm going, oh my God, because I set it up to do the phone interview. So and I was on my way to the work. I couldn't do it. Who else gets a chance to sit down and have coffee with Brad and interview him? I missed a lifetime opportunity right here. I'm losing the days.
You did.
I am.
And I'm never going to let you live it down.
I know. But Brad, you've done it since One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, man. My mother loves you. My dad loves you. My little girl, my 7-year-old, not so much. She's scared of Chucky. I have to lock.
Well, good for her.
I was going to tell you that. I told my daughter tonight, I said, honey, I'm going to interview Chucky. And she was hiding her face and everything going, he's really here? He's coming to the house? I said, no, he's on the phone. But how's that feel? Because you're such a part of so many people's lives through the films you've done, especially, that's just covering the horror stuff like Chucky. Doing the voice over there. How's that feel being a part of that franchise?
Well, I've grown to kind of love Chucky. He's a guy who loves his job.
Yeah.
He's got a kind of enthusiasm for it, and I like that.
He throws himself into his work.
He does.
Yeah, that's what was so interesting about that, because all the Chuckies, I've never seen. Well, there's a lot of remakes and stuff like that, but with the Curse of Chucky, they came out, and I watched the interview you did before, Brad, and they really turned it back to where Chucky had came from, because it was going on a certain path, kind of like Friday the 13th was going on a certain path. And then you guys came back and you said, let's spin it back to the beginning. Why was that? Was there just a huge outcry to get back?
Well, yeah, there really was. I think horror fans were saying we're sick of this self-referential stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Scream really changed the genre for a while. At the beginning, Chucky was, part of you have to be aware that any kind of a film is an event. And horror, at the point that the Child's Play franchise started, was really, under the thralls of the kind of camp thing that came out from Dr. Phibes and some of those kinds of movies that Price did.
Oh yeah.
And it began to get camp. And that's where Chucky really had its birth during that era. but after Child's Play 3, that whole thing kind of got used up. And people were looking for, you needed something new. And then there became this whole self-referential period where it was much funnier and more jokey. And that, hence we had Bride of Chucky, which was, had the whole Bride of Frankenstein reference running all the way through it, this kind of dark comedic love story between Chucky and Jennifer Tilly's part.
Yeah. That's where you know you have a huge fan base, too, because no matter what direction the Chucky franchise goes in, you still have faithfuls, baby. They will be in the seats, Yeah.
Yeah, it was, well, that's not always easy, but Don Mancini always seemed to come up with something, that really, really worked. And that's kind of what, what he was able to do. And then when that ran out, we had a big hiatus. And I think that Universal kind of scrapped Chucky entirely. Yeah. And eventually, through a lot of effort on Don's part and pointing out that, that Chucky was an icon, that fans really wanted more, he came up with Curse, and he called me up and said, listen, I have this really edgy part I need somebody to do. And it was, and I said, he asked me if I knew any edgy actresses, and I said, well, yeah, actually, Fiona, my daughter, is kind of edgy, and so he brought her in for a different part than she played.
Fiona's great, by the way.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yes, she is.
And he took one look at her and said, no, I need her in the lead. She's got this feel to her that looks like these kinds of supernatural things could actually happen to her.
Yeah.
And so she read, I think, twice, maybe 3 times, I forget exactly, and they went for it.
Right.
And so we had Curse, and that kind of, people really liked that movie.
I could tell.
Now, don't you feel, Brad, that you're just asking for bad luck when you play an iconic character who has this curse about him, and you spread that to your daughter? I mean, come on.
I know. And the first time that Fiona had contact with that movie was during I was doing ADR for when I was being burned. Yeah. And I had to do this horrific screaming for, I don't know, a full minute or a minute and a half of running around screaming.
Yeah. And
she happened to be in the booth and heard it, and it freaked her out.
How old was she?
I finished it, and they said, Fiona's crying, and I had to go to it.
Oh, no.
Okay. And that was her first real, she was, really young.
Yeah, so that'd been like Chucky 3 or something, or 2, when you got melted up, right?
1.
Oh, 1. Yeah. Okay, I'm with you. So that's way back machine.
Yeah, that's way back, and she was a baby.
Yeah. Well, your legacy, sir, shines through because you can see the way you carry a role in Fiona too, because she has that. You got it or you don't. And you're one of my favorite actors, and it's such a huge honor for Nate and I to have you on tonight because. And
thank you.
I'm not just blowing rays of sunshine on you here, brother. It's true because when I seen you act star with George C. Scott, another legend, in Exorcist 3, and I seen you guys, and you're in that the hospital, and you're in the sick ward, mentally insane ward, and you're down there, and you've possessed the body of Father Karras, and I mean everything from your face to everything. How did you prepare, and what was it like working with George C. Scott in all these roles?
Well, George C. Scott's he's a real ensemble guy. I
Yeah.
mean, he really loves working with actors.
Right.
And he was an enormous help to me throughout the whole thing. There was, a couple of takes where I couldn't have him there because it was too close, and I couldn't look at him. I had to look at a little dot right next to the lens.
Wow.
And and I said, look, if you're here, I'm going to look at you.
Right.
So he had to leave, and I had to do it without him. But beyond that, he made that speech just by his reactions and the way he connected way easier.
Yeah. I tell you, that was, I mean, you've done so much, Mississippi Burning, everything, but in Exorcist 3,
Well,
you played James Veneman, the Gemini killer, and it just blew me away. What's that, Nathan?
I was just going to say, when Sean contacted me and said, I've got a guest for this week, it's going to be, the voice of Chucky. And I went, the voice of Chucky. Yes, I know that. He goes, Brad Dorfman. I went, Dune. You can tell I'm a geek. First thing I went to was Dune.
Yeah, Brad Dourif.
Well, you must have been. I remember when. Dune failed. On box office.
I refuse to believe that.
And I didn't think that much of it, but back in the early days, after that movie came out, and it went to video. When you shop for software, you'd go in Egghead, and I was huge in Egghead.
Yeah.
I mean, because it was already a cult, among people who bought programs. It was I was like, I couldn't go in there.
Yeah. When you were on Exorcist 3, Brad, do you remember we had one of your co-stars on, Scott Wilson, legendary actor.
He's incredible.
Oh, we love Scott, and he had nothing but the nicest things to say about you too, because we were mentioning you during the interview. And when you guys were on the set, do you feel, because really Exorcist 2, say what you will, a lot of people say it's a flop. They said it was terrible.
Exorcist 2 was terrible.
Yeah.
It was a joke. It was horrible. I mean, they had James Earl Jones riding on this bug, and you never seen anything that looked so fake and stupid.
Oh, I can't believe you said that.
It was
like,
that was just so unscary,
and
ridiculous, and and the rest of it was just there was nothing. There was no saving grace there.
That's a huge relief to hear you say that.
Yeah, well, I mean, what can you say? I mean, I haven't met anybody who thought that was a good movie.
Right. Well, and that's why when Exorcist 3 came out, it was solely on your shoulders. You and George C. Scott, all those guys, Scott Wilson, you guys just brought it home. And what I was saying is to be a part of that, because, movies that shocked the world, of course, Jaws, The Exorcist, there were several movies. But to be a part of that trilogy, the Exorcist storyline, that's what I was trying to get into. When you're on the set preparing for something like that, does it hit you how big that project is? I mean, because Exorcist 3 will go on forever and ever as being one of the greatest films I believe ever made in the horror genre.
Well, it could have been better.
What?
They
you just really upset Sean.
It could have been better. It really was a much better movie. I had that cut, and I don't know what happened to it. But apparently it's gone. I looked for it all over the place. Blatty called me. He was looking for it. But he did a cut without the exorcism and all that stuff that was in it.
Yeah.
And it was much more edgier a movie. And it was the one that Blatty wanted to make. And they just wouldn't let him do it.
You can't leave me with that, Brad. What was the scene? This is history. We can market this.
Well, the scene was, the whole thing was I don't remember it that well, but it was just way tighter and way scarier, and really a scene, but that was about George C. Scott coming to terms with who this was and having to kill this guy.
Right.
Because he knew that these were supernatural murders, and this was the only way to put a stop to it.
Yeah. God, I would
Now,
love to see that.
When you're doing these characters that you portray, and I hope I'm saying this right, but having watched you over the years, my favorite characters of yours are the bad guys. I love you as the bad guy. I really do. In when you're trying to make out with an alien through glass. When you're,
Well, he wasn't a bad guy.
Yeah. What's wrong with him?
I mean, he was just a scientist.
Yeah. He's confused.
well,
Yeah, he was very confused.
how about Boggs on X-Files? I mean, these are just characters.
He was a bad guy. He was really he was a bad guy. He was a serial killer and not a nice person.
Yeah. What do you think about the return of X-Files here lately, Brad? Any talks with them? The internet's abuzz with the X-Files revival coming back. When's it going to hit again?
I don't know anything about it, to tell you the truth. I really don't. I'm a little concerned, but because those things rarely work.
Yeah.
There's a certain rawness to that show when it began, and a certain kind of dynamic that was between Scully and who's the other character's name?
Dave Duchovny, Mulder.
Mulder, and it had to do with how tightly she held herself down, being the realist, and how loose he was.
Yeah.
And it was just a perfect dynamic, and when I was watching that show, it replaced a show I kind of liked.
Yeah.
And then when I was watching it, I couldn't miss one after that. And then I got the call to do it, and I read the script, and I said, "There's no way I can pull this off in 2 or 3 days." I said, "It's just not possible." And they said, "Fine, we'll give you 10 days." And then I was able to just make it. I had 17 characters to play.
Right.
So.
And, I know everybody's asked you this, and I told Nathan I didn't want to ask him tonight, but how do you prepare? I got to ask you, how do you prepare for some of the roles? Not Chucky and all those, because those are awesome roles, but not just the voice. When you're actually in the moment, like James Venom, the Gemini Killer, things like that. And I know before you'd said you take that one important thing, but I'll let you tell it. How do you do it?
Well, I try to find what the core is. First of all, what's needed for the story. What do you need to see about this guy? How does this guy fit in? How does he shed light on the story? And you find that little kernel, and put it to yourself in a way that's kind of simple, human, and universal. And you go from there, and you slowly spread out and kind of fill it all in. And there are a million different ways to do that. You can do backstory. Sometimes I just find props that mean things, just stuff that that makes me understand the meanings that are there for the scenes and what the scenes refer to, until I'm just drowned in it.
Yeah. See, that's what gets me so much, Brad, with actors like you, amazing actors like you. That's what I'm most interested in, because that is the art form. What goes on in your mind, how you take that method, and each one's different. Scott Wilson had one different, Mike Rooker, all the guys that you've starred with before in different films. They all have different ways, and that's amazing to me. Like, how did you...
We all do this.
Yeah.
And we all do the same thing. It's just we do go about it differently because we're oriented differently. I'm rather mechanical in things. I kind of look at how things work and fit, and I usually come up with a much more mechanical. Other people are way freer than I am, and they're not so they don't think things through in the way that I do. It's just their way of my way of dealing with it comes from who I am.
Yeah. Well, I got one more. Go ahead, Brad. I'm sorry.
But I've called a moratorium on bad guy. I'm a bad guy.
Oh, you're done with. But I loved you as the bad guy.
No. I'm done, man. I really am. It's ultimately not who I am, and nothing to do with the way I've lived my life.
Yeah.
I've been a father and a bunch of other things, and family is important to me, and there are other themes, and those sociopaths don't live through their 60s.
Right.
They just don't.
Yeah. Well, it's funny.
It's a young, dominant kind of they're about power and fear, and you live in your 60s, and you can't help but relax into life a little bit more, and those are not the things I have to offer anymore.
It's
I have to work for myself. I can't. I just can't do that forever.
Right.
It's interesting to me because having gotten my start in acting, I always wound up in either the role of the odd young man or the bad guy. And I would tell people all the time, I'd be like, I just don't want to play the odd young man or the bad guy anymore. And they said, well, you do them so well. And I was like, well, I'm an odd young man, so that's easy for me. And as for the bad guy, the secret to playing a good bad guy is to know their weakness, because that defines them.
Yeah.
And that
in a way, you're right. Loop. Yeah. In a way, I think you're right there. Fear. Anger,
it's
but
what.
Fear.
Yeah, their weakness defines who they are, and everything about them is to cover up that weakness. So that's the way I play a bad guy.
Hey, Brad, when you first started, and a lot of people credit, say, in 1975, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest was your start. That's one hell of a start, by the way. But you were doing things before that. Can we go into that a little bit? When you started out?
Well, I was doing mainly theater. I worked at Circle Repertory Theater Company, and with Marshall Mason and Lanford Wilson, who really, really taught me everything I know. I mean, they are the core, and gave me my, my sort of moral compass as far as an artist goes,
right?
If you will, and then of course Sandy Meisner. But those three really, really brought me, to a certain level where I could really use myself better.
What do you think was most influential in you becoming an actor when you were growing up in Huntington?
My mom.
Yeah?
I've told this story, I think, a million times, but my mom was playing Anastasia in the community theater in Huntington, West Virginia. And I went to a rehearsal, and she did this one rehearsal that astounded me. She did a speech about a butterfly, and I could see the butterfly. I knew exactly where it was the whole time she did it, and I just wondered, how the hell do you do that?
Right. How
can you make me see something that's not there that vividly? How can it be alive with you on a stage? I just didn't. I said, I want to do that.
Yeah, ran in the family. Well, you definitely picked it up good from Mom.
She was awesome. I did scenes from The Cornet's Green with her, this was years later when, I did one rehearsal with her where she was as good as anybody I ever worked with, except for Amanda Plummer.
Yeah.
Nobody's that good on stage.
When you were doing roles like Mississippi Burning, stuff like that, did you go out to Mississippi? Did you, a lot of people look at
We shot in Mississippi.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. Did you go study the history of that period? How did you get into the role of that? Because that was controversial. I mean, that was a very hot button topic, still is, and a very tragic time in history. I mean, how did you? I know Rooker said he was very uncomfortable at times on the set.
Well, the Rook is so shy.
Yeah.
Rooker knew what all that was
to
to the core of his being. I mean, he probably understood that sentiment better than anybody else on the whole shoot. I mean, he really got it, and he was like a force that was there. He was very, very. His presence on that shoot was very important to all of us. I actually more than probably any other role that I did, I probably used the fear thing the most as far as a villain goes.
Fear.
I mean, this was somebody who really wanted to believe he had a normal life and he was a good guy, and wasn't.
Yeah.
He turned out to be a murderer, and just believed a whole series of things that were wrong.
Yeah.
All based on fear.
Great movie.
Fear of everybody else. I mean, he had to beat up his wife because there were other people there.
Yeah, they thought that's the way it should be handled between a man and a wife. Yeah, that was a crazy movie, man. It was great.
Yeah. I have to throw one of my geek questions out now because I am the show geek. In the Lord of the Rings series, I have to ask this because I've heard people say on and off all the time that there was supposed to be a scene at the end of the Lord of the Rings where you and Christopher Lee were filmed back at the Shire trying to take over the Hobbit village.
That was
and
in
then
the
it got
book.
cut.
It
was in the book. But people said it got cut from the movie.
But
it
never was shot.
Did they even plan to shoot it?
No, there was no plan to shoot it. Wormtongue was to be killed on the top of the tower all along. It was never shot any other way. There was never any plan to shoot it any other way.
Okay, because a lot of you know how talk starts, and people were like, "Oh, they cut it because they thought it would be too long." Too long of an ending.
They did cut it out of the second film and put it in the third. And they did that because for I don't know, they needed to.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, Brad, I know it's getting late, and you've had.
They put it in the third, and then they cut it from the. They cut it completely from the first theatrical, so that there was no death of Wormtongue or Saruman.
Yeah, these two great iconic characters just kind of disappear.
They kind of disappeared, and then they put it back in the extended cut for DVDs.
And leaning up, doing those great scenes, just like Christopher Lee. I can't imagine doing a scene like that with Christopher Lee.
Which one are you talking about?
Well, just working with him in those scenes, and
he's easy to work with.
Is he? He just seems
easy to work with.
He seems like such a force of nature.
Well, he's good. I mean, he really knows what he's doing. I mean, but just like the rest of us, he's an actor. He's the thing is he's brilliant. I mean, I did interviews with him for an entire day I mean, there was just this pack of tapes that went from the floor till to my chest, 2-3 stacks of stuff. So we just worked all day. And Christopher Lee greeted everybody, and this is foreign press. Christopher Lee greeted everybody in their own language.
Oh my gosh.
He knew Tolkien. He was like, and he was the sword fighter in England. I mean, he knew more about that and was better at that than anybody. I mean, I'll tell you a quick anecdote about him. Now I got to remember. Carradine. Who's the Carradine who died? One of the Carradine brothers.
Now you got me thinking here.
David?
Yeah, David.
Yes.
David was, he was a martial artist, and he figured he knew a lot, and he was in a movie with him, and Christopher followed him around and talked to him about how he could do this and how he could do that, and David started not believing him. Saying that nobody, and at one point David was trying to teach himself how to throw knives. And he was throwing them in a dartboard, and Christopher came by and said, "Oh, I can hit anything with a sharp object." And Christopher David had had enough and said, "All right, show me." And he said, "Oh, yes, of course." And he went over and got a rusty nail and paced off 20 feet, and bam! Nobody hits the bullseye, but he did. And Christopher went, "Oh, so you do know everybody on planet Earth. You did win World War II.
That was Lincoln. Yeah.
You are who you say you are."
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, so he was, Christopher was, an abnormally extraordinary human being.
Yeah. Brad, after you did Cuckoo's Nest, what was life in Hollywood after that like? Was your career off and running, just bang bang, one after the other?
Oh, sure. It was. It changed like night and day.
Yeah.
I got offers for things, and things started to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
I always wondered about that because, nobody ever really heard much, and then all of a sudden Cuckoo's Nest, because that's where a lot of your accounts, IMDb, everything, Wikipedia, everything has you listed. If you look up your name, they always say that's where it starts. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah.
But if you really go into
I did theater before that. I did, but that's as far as my film and television career went.
Yeah.
But I did a lot of theater before that, a lot of theater.
Yeah, well, like I said before, that was one hell of a start, though. Cuckoo's Nest. I mean, that is. I mean, that's...
Yeah, it was. It was.
Yeah, you worked with Nicholson, and really, you and him, Danny DeVito, I could go on and on. But what's next for
Chris
Brad?
Lloyd.
Oh, yeah. Everybody. And they all went on and kept having these amazing careers like you did. You're legendary, brother. What's next for Brad?
Well, like I say, I'm kind of like slowing down at this point. I think we're going to probably do. I mean, there's going to be another Chucky.
Ooh.
For sure, and I think there's going to be another or a movie of Deadwood.
Oh my God!
To finish up that series.
We were just talking about
those are the two
Deadwood.
next things, and then I audition.
Yeah.
So.
No. That's another thing you just brought up, Brad. I'm at your feet, sir, for the Deadwood series. I wasn't big on it when it first came out because I didn't pay no attention. And then after it came out and about 1,000 people said, dude, you got to check it out, I was hooked. I mean, I was watching it over and over again.
Yeah, that was a good series. That was that's some of the best writing I've ever had the joy of doing.
I got hooked on it just in time for them to end it on me. And I was like, no.
That's crazy. They should never end it. It wasn't going to end, was it? They were going to keep it.
No. It just did.
Wow. But there is going to be a movie. We can talk about that a little?
Yeah, we're going to. They're doing a movie, and at least that's the last I heard.
Oh, wow. I can't wait for that one, Nate. You got to be kidding.
That's a good one for me, too.
Yeah, that's big time. But
you know what they say, John? End on a high note.
That's it. But, Brad, you're going to be here this weekend in beautiful Indianapolis, Indiana. Where can people see you at this weekend?
Yeah.
There at
well, it's what is it? Hellhound?
Horror Hound, yeah.
Horror Hound.
Yeah. It's out there.
And are you traveling with this kind of thing? Are you going to be at more cons this year?
No. This is something I don't do that often at all.
Yeah.
I kind of do it when my daughter tells me to.
That's so old dad's got to fall in there. Well, Brad, I know.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's good for the Child Play series. You know, it keeps that going, and she's a star of this next one as well. So
yeah,
nice.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing, sir. And I tell you what, you to me and Nathan, you're just amazing. Everything you've done, and I love your work. We stand behind you.
Well, I thank you.
Yes, sir.
But just be careful when we're standing behind you, because people have a tendency to lose their wallets.
This is true.
Well, I'll keep that in mind. I don't know what it looks like, so that's my problem.
Well,
yeah,
that's the anonymity of radio.
Yeah.
Yep.
But Brad, thanks so much for coming on the show tonight, brother.
Okay.
It's been a blast.
Can you stick on the line for one moment while we close out the show, and then we'd love to just say a couple words to you before we end.
Sure.
All right, guys. Brad Dourif. Oh, my God, Nathan. What do you say we pay the bills?
I'm going to go. I have to work first thing in the morning, but I think I'm going to go watch Dune again.
Yeah, well, you're on the clock now, buddy. Special thanks to all our homes, all our sponsors. Stitcher, Smart Radio, Spreaker. The world is listening. How about you? Check them out, Spreaker.com. Geeky Antics, geeky fun. Geeky people, geekyantics.net.
I'm one.
Are you a geek? You might be. Attentive Home Healthcare, guys. Good people willing and ready to help the ones you love, especially if you're in Indianapolis, Indiana, because that's where they're at. Check them out at AttentiveHAC.com. And the SWL Project, guys, give some love, share some love. Everybody needs love, Nate.
I need some love.
Absolutely. From the haunted back roads of America, this has been another exclusive G&D show interview. Don't go changing America. You know we won't. Demon Hunter.
Because we love you.
Night, guys.